Hey kids, well, I've received my P15 back from KelTec, and I have some good news and some bad news to share with you all. We'll start with the good news. First off, as per internet rumors, KelTec service is really good. They were very nice with receiving me and my issue. They sent me a shipping label, kept me updated on the work as it was being done, and got it back to me fairly quickly. That's fantastic. So what was wrong with the gun? I have here the documentation from KelTec. Service notes: frame out of spec, replaced frame and all internals, replaced rear sight assembly and sighted in. Test fired 120 rounds with no malfunctions occurring. Okay, so the frame they're talking about is the internal aluminum chassis. This is the serialized part. Somehow, in some way, it was out of spec, causing the safety sear and other safety problems. That all seems plausible to me, so the whole thing was replaced, which is pretty great. My old frame is listed as having been destroyed for legal reasons. The funny thing about that is because the frame is the serialized part, they had to return to me a gun with an updated serial number, not an entirely new serial number. Basically, it's the same number, but with an A on the end. In order to see this new and improved serial number through the grip module, they had to widen the hole here. I assumed they would test fire the gun, as it originally arrived to me brand new, having been test fired, but I thought I misread that part at first. 120 rounds were fired with no malfunctions? Maybe this is a typo, and maybe they only fired 12 rounds, which seems more reasonable to me. I mean, 120 rounds is a lot of ammo to expend on this. Either way, they checked it and before sending it back to me, which is great stuff, and it seems to have solved the issues I was having with it. So at this point, I've read the letter, and what's the first thing any reasonable gun owner would do? Well, disassemble the gun, of course, and check if I can detect any of the previous problems reoccurring. Which I do. I do notice that the sear is still getting slightly hung up here on the rear cover as I take the gun down, but it is nowhere near as bad as it was previously. I immediately checked the mag and grip safety mechanism, which was not working properly previously, and I am pleasantly surprised that all three modes are functioning correctly. The sear is not popping and doing weird things like it did before. At this point, I am cautiously very optimistic. It looks like the repairs have solved my issues. As James from TFB TV says in his P15 review, most issues you will find with KelTec guns are QC issues, not so much QA issues. That means that these problems were clearly a manufacturing issue with the frame and not a design issue with the gun itself. So the only thing left for me to do is to reassemble the gun and take it to the range. And this is where we get the bad news. I put the slide back on, and I am utterly unable to get the slide stop fully inserted back into the frame. I mean, I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried, until I decided I had to go back to sleuthing. And here is what I found. In the side of the frame, the aluminum frame, there's this little spring-loaded plunger, and what it does is it pushes up on the front of this slide lock so the back of the slide lock stays down and doesn't lock the slide open, unless of course the magazine follower is pushing the back end of it up. Well, it turns out this plunger is too tall and will not allow me to insert the slide stop. You can see that this slide stop has an angled surface that should allow it to work past this plunger, but you can also see here that I put a little mark on the non-angled side of it as I've tried cramming it back into the gun. I mean, this little mark looks to be only about 0.5 millimeter. It's very small, but just that much is preventing me from putting this gun back together. It is absolutely impossible. So the thing that vexes me deeply is that obviously someone at KelTec was able to put the gun together, they test fired it, and now I can't get the slide stop past this plunger. What? I think it would be possible for me to fix this on my own, likely by grinding this plunger down a little bit and or adjusting this angled surface on the slide stop. But I'm not going to do that. I will instead see about sending this back to KelTec again. Now, I'm being a cool customer because I have mentally prepared myself for this possibility. This is a brand new design from KelTec, and it seems they don't have all the kinks worked out of their processes just yet. Now, I'm not happy about that, but I'm not going to flush this gun down the toilet yet, especially since I'm getting very good and, right now, free service to get it fixed. Now, if they had sent it back to me and all the same problems were still present, that's a different story, and I would be properly teed off. But that is not what happened. They fixed the existing problems. Fantastic. But now I somehow have a completely new set of problems, which is less fantastic. So things will be pretty tied up due to the holidays right now, so I'll hopefully have another follow-up on this sometime in January, maybe February. So all I can say for now is thanks a lot, guys. Stay safe. Have fun, kids.